What is up, people, and welcome back to my F1 2017 career mode here at the Hungarian Grand Prix for round 11 of this first season. And first of all, if you are new around here, click that subscribe button, and you can also go catch up with the card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screens. You will find the playlist for the whole entire series and also the previous episode at the British Grand Prix. But jumping into the practice session for the Hungarian Grand Prix, unfortunately, it is chucking it down with rain out on track. I've said in previous episodes before, we don't tend to do that well in wet conditions, so I waited a little bit longer until the dry conditions came about, doing the track acclimatization now and getting ourselves underway. Purple score in that one here today, 50 resource points added to ourselves, which we do need because unfortunately we couldn't bring any upgrades to this race weekend because we didn't actually have any, and that was actually the end of FP2. So we skipped FP1, went straight into FP2, unfortunately right down the back of the field, but we were only doing the track acclimatization and we were also running on a really worn engine. So here we go in towards the tyre wear management now, and it looks like we're going to get a purple score on this one as well, which is absolutely fantastic. Like I've said in the track acclimatization, getting 50 points, and that's really going to help us try to upgrade the car in future races. Now jumping into the fuel saving management test as we come down towards the line once again, and once again getting the purple score. We've really started to do a lot well in these fuel sessions because we struggled at the start of the season, and now we're really starting to get the hang of it, getting the purple scores and getting some good amount of resource points from that one. Now coming down towards the line, this time doing the qualifying test and only getting a green score on that one. Not quite the purple score, but the green score at the end of the day will still do. Unfortunately, we just weren't quick enough to get the purple, and then through the final corner once again, this time doing the race strategy, and this should be a purple score, getting 50 more resource points added to the team, and there we go. Absolutely fantastic. 50 points into the bank and a lot of resource points earned from this weekend. Unfortunately, it's only P15 at the moment in the practice sessions. This, like Spain, was one of my terrible circuits on the F1 2016 game. I think I got like 2 point scoring finishes in this race on that career mode, and I did 5 seasons of that career mode. So that just goes to show that this isn't one of my favourable circuits, but Spain, we got a great result in this season, so maybe the tables have turned and we can get a good result in this Hungarian Grand Prix. We just have to wait to see. At the end of the day, we've only done practice sessions and we haven't really been able to push too much. Okay, we pushed a little bit in the qualifying one, but I reckon in the actual qualifying session we can go a lot faster than that. So without any further ado, let's see what we can do in the qualifying sessions.
We hope you're looking forward to today's qualifying in Hungary as much as we are. We think it's going to be a cracker.
Here we go then, qualifying time for the Hungarian Grand Prix as we come around the final corner now to end our first lap in this session. Down towards the start-finish line. Was the time going to be good enough for us? A 1:27.545. We are going to go for a few more laps in this session, try and get ourselves out of Q1, because at the moment we are slower than Marcus Ericsson. That was a really slow lap in this qualifying session, a 1:27. We know that we can do so much better than that as we come down towards the line once again. This time, big improvement. It's a 1:21.1, and just like on the previous lap, we know we can go fast. We went faster than that lap in the practice session. So here we are coming around the final corner once again. Just look at the delta time, so close compared to my previous lap, but a much better final corner down towards the line. It's 1.5 tenths quicker, and that puts us down into the 1:21.049. Still though, only down in 19th position in this qualifying session. We're going to have just enough time though to go for one more lap in this session to come around the final corner once again. What is this lap time going to be good enough for, and will it get us into Q2? I have struggled all weekend with 1 lap pace around this circuit as we're at the moment 7 tenths up on our previous best time, losing the back end quite a bit there through the final corner. That scrubbed off about a tenth of a second around the final corner, but down across the line. Is it enough to get us into Q2 here at the Hungarian Grand Prix? No, it's not, unfortunately. It's only good enough for 16th position, and just like at the beginning of the season, we are really starting to struggle with the qualifying sessions once again. But hopefully this is only the case for the Hungarian Grand Prix and we can pick ourselves up in future races. But that is unfortunately it for today's qualifying session. Way down in 16th position, going out with the likes of Fernando Alonso, Stoffel van Dorn, Marcus Ericsson and Pascal Wehrlein. But it just means we're going to have a bit of fun in the race, try and work our way through the field, which will be quite difficult at a circuit which is compared to Monaco without the barriers. Very tight, very twisty and very difficult to overtake here. But we will try and do our best, and hopefully we can make our way through the field. But without any further ado, let's head over to the race for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's race day here at the Hungarian Grand Prix. All the cars lined up on the grid ahead of today's race, and we should be getting underway shortly. As we're going to quickly look at the driver's standings at the moment. Sebastian Vettel leading the way ahead of his closest rival, which is his teammate Kimi Räikkönen, and Lewis Hamilton in third place. But before we get into today's race, let's run through the starting grid for today. So Valtteri Bottas puts it in pole and heads a Mercedes 1-2 in the qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton in second. That's Vettel in third, with Ricciardo in fourth. Nico Hülkenberg, great qualifying session for him to put it in fifth, with Roman Grosjean 6th, Magnussen 7th, Raikkonen in 8th, Perez 9th, Sainz in 10th, with Massa in 11th, and Alonso up in 12th, Van Dorn in 13th, Danny Kvyat 14th, Pascal Wehrlein 15th, Lance Stroll 16th, Marcus Ericsson 17th, Max Verstappen 18th, Esteban Ocon 19th, and myself right at the back of the field in P20. We could have actually had a chance to maybe move up the field with a few of the penalties, but I just thought, because, you know, I was really bad in the qualifying session, I might as well take a gearbox penalty, because we did struggle in the British Grand Prix with losing gears and stuff like that in that race. So I've decided to take a gearbox penalty here today and have a fresh one for the likes of Hungary, Belgium, and the Italian Grand Prix. So hopefully this does help us in the next couple of races across the rest of the season. But unfortunately it does mean that we are right down at the back of the field. That is the race strategy though for today, starting on the soft tyres and then pitting for 2 sets of super softs. But I might try and stretch that out maybe to a 1-stopper as the race goes on. We will just have to wait and see. But here we are on the starting grid for today's race. It's 5 red lights. It is lights out, and away we go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Not the best of starts there compared to Esteban Ocon, who started just ahead of us in P19. We're going to take it cautiously now. We're so far behind the rest of the field, we might as well take it cautiously down in towards turn 1, having a little look around the outside of Esteban Ocon, but unfortunately not able to get the traction and the room around the outside to get the job done on Esteban Ocon. And once again, just taking it nice and cautiously. I know that the race is not won in the first lap, and definitely not into the first corner as well. We could have dived up the inside. We've had plenty of opportunities to do that over the course of the season, but there's just no point. We're damaged our front wing, and that'll put us even further down at the back of the field. So for now, we're just going to stay behind Esteban Ocon and just try and work way through the field. Unfortunately, with that, it was just a lot of drivers getting in our way. Esteban Ocon is now having a little go on Stoffel Van Dorn. So what exactly can Ocon do on the McLaren driver? Well, we know that the McLarens are so slow in a straight line. That straight line speed that the Force India has should be enough to get the job done down towards turn 1. There goes Esteban Ocon up the inside of Stoffel Van Dorn. Now this is going to give me an opportunity to maybe go for an overtake on the McLaren driver down in towards turn 2. Here we are following in the slipstream, moving on to the left-hand side, up the inside of Stoffel Van Dorn. He locks up massively down in towards turn 2, and that is enough to get ourselves up into P19 and off of the back of the field. So there we go, up into P19 now, and once again following behind Esteban Ocon. But then unfortunately we just sort of got caught in this train in the race, headed by Pascal Wehrlein, then Ericsson in 16th, Verstappen 17th, and Ocon in 18th. Unfortunately, with everybody getting DRS off of each other and the two Saubers not really being able to overtake each other in today's race, it just made this huge old train that made it really difficult to get the overtakes done. I said it just after the qualifying session. This track is compared to Monaco without the barriers, just because it's so tight, it's so twisty, and there's not really much room to go for the overtakes. The only really place that you can do it is down towards turns 1 and turns 2 with the DRS available. But Daniel Ricciardo coming into the pits there, dropping down to P19. I've moved up into 18th place, nearly going into the back of Esteban Ocon as well. I may have a look though down in towards turn 2 and maybe on the run in towards turn 4, though turn 4 is a very tight and twisty corner, so it's very difficult to get the job done through there. But if you are very brave, you can certainly have a chance. Here we are on the back of Esteban Ocon, but unfortunately it's just not close enough at the end of the day on the Force India driver. And here we are just, you know, settling behind. There's literally nothing we can do at this point of the race. We're not close enough to dive it up the inside. And this game is so much more difficult than F1 2016 in terms of diving one up the inside on the AI drivers. But at the moment we've got Daniel Ricciardo all over our tail. We're getting quite out of shape at the moment with these tyres, locking up there down in towards the penultimate corner, running very, very wide, sliding as well as we went down one gear too many. And unfortunately there, Daniel Ricciardo gets the job done, even though it doesn't actually really matter to myself too much at this point in the race. I wasn't really too frustrated with that mistake, because, you know, we're all caught up in this train, and so no doubt within the next couple of corners, the next couple of laps, I will be right on the tail of Daniel Ricciardo once again. So there's a few drivers coming into the pits at the moment. That's going to push myself up into P14s. Ricciardo has a little look as Esteban Ocon overtakes Marcus Ericsson for P11. I think Ocon is going to get the job done because of that straight line speed that the Force India driver has. And Ricciardo once again having another little look there down in towards turn 2. But unfortunately for the Red Bull driver, he can't get it done there, but he does now go for the overtake down in towards turn 1 here on lap 11 of this Hungarian Grand Prix. So it's taken us 11 laps pretty much to get past the Sauber drivers, and it's only really I'm only really on the back of Marcus Ericsson. I haven't even gone for the overtake yet on the Sauber driver, but nevertheless we should be able to get the job done on Marcus Ericsson within the next couple of laps. Here we are cutting ahead 1 lap later on to lap 12, and we are right on the tail now of Marcus Ericsson. So can we possibly be able to have a go down in towards turn 4? We're going to try it. No, we don't. We have a little look there at the inside of turn 4 on Marcus Ericsson. We cut the corner a little bit. That's why we didn't put it on the power and go for that overtake on Marcus Ericsson, because it would have been unfair. We would have gained an unfair advantage for going up the inside, cutting that corner and getting the job done on the Sauber drive. And just look, we just had no room. We ran out of room there coming into the chicane section. We had a little look around the outside, but unfortunately coming into that chicane section just could not get the job done on Marcus Ericsson. Now cutting up 1 lap later to lap 13, and Marcus Ericsson finally comes into the pits in today's race. So that releases us. That means that we can push on these tyres, even though we have a huge train of cars right on our tail. It does mean that we have been released and we can push on in this race. We get past Roman Grosjean there behind him. Not Roman Grosjean. Roman Grosjean's going for the attack down towards turn 1. We get past the driver who has just come into the pit lane, and unfortunately just settling at the moment behind Sergio Perez, who I think is going to be taking those medium tyres all the way to the end of the race. There's quite a few split strategies amongst the field. All the drivers that pitted a lot earlier in today's race, I believe, are going for a 2-stop strategy, but the guys pitting at the moment, like those guys coming into pits right now, they are all going for the 1-stop strategy, as Roman Grosjean goes around the outside down towards turn 1, but we get a nice tidy line through up the inside there and manage to defend our position, holding on to P5. Who would have thought it? From P20 in today's race, currently at the moment in P5, and actually in a good position ahead of the guys right behind me, because of course we are doing a very similar strategy. We've both got 1 more stop left to go in today's race. We're watching on board now with Stoffel Van Dorn, who's running right to the back of the field in that McLaren. A yellow flag has come out at the moment. Not too sure what that is for. I'm guessing it's going to be there for Stoffel Van Dorn, who pulls over to the left-hand side of the track, and unfortunately the McLaren Honda driver is out of today's race. Of course, the Honda power unit showing very much like the real-life Honda power unit, failing there on Stoffel Van Dorn and putting him out of this Hungarian Grand Prix. As we cut ahead now to lap 16, and it is pit stop time for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Coming into the pits for our 1 and only pit stop in today's race, making sure we get the car stopped for the line and now coming towards our pit box. Now we want a quick pit stop from the team, because we are in a battle with those guys who are directly behind us before we came into the pits. I know there is a huge train, and it is going to be very, very difficult to make sure that we stay ahead of those guys, but we're going to try our best in today's race. It's a 2.6 second stop. We're unfortunately coming out behind Pascal Wehrlein, but do we get the job done on Marcus Ericsson down in towards turn 1? It looks like we have Marcus Ericsson there around the outside. Unfortunately can't get the overtake on us, and there we go, settling for P18 at the moment. I know it's not exactly where we want to be in today's race, but at least I've managed to get ahead of Marcus Ericsson, because like I say, overtaking here is a huge nightmare, and we do want to make as you know, the least amount of overtakes as we possibly can in this race. We're watching on board Roman Grosjean at the moment. He pulls over to the left-hand side, and he is also out of today's race. That's 2 drivers, and the safety car has been deployed. Oh my god, this is huge. This is absolutely huge for our own race. The safety car being deployed just after we have made our pit stop. Roman Grosjean becoming the 2nd driver to DNF for today's race. But like I say, the safety car is a huge strategy call for ourselves. We've just made our pit stop. We've got no more pit stops left to make in this race. The likes of Vettel, Nico Hülkenberg, I think Massa, Kvyat, Sainz, all of those guys still have 1 more pit stop left to make, and they're going to be making it after this safety car period, which means we're so much closer to those guys ahead of me. As I'm just showing you the driver standings at the moment on the left-hand side of your screens. But having a little look now on Pascal Wehrlein, and we are green and underway once again for this Hungarian Grand Prix, right on the back of the Sauber driver. Now, I'm not too sure whether I'm going to be able to get the job done on Pascal Wehrlein down towards turn 1. We're following in the slipstream, putting up into Rich Mix and trying our best, but he's getting the slipstream there off Esteban Ocon down in towards turn 1, and there, wow, so close there to going straight into the back of Pascal Wehrlein. Look at those reactions from myself, nearly going straight in the back of Pascal Wehrlein. Wasn't even expecting to go for the overtake there on Wehrlein, but he broke so early in towards that corner. Nearly actually went into the side of Esteban Ocon as well, down in towards turn 1, because I had to sort of, you know, lose some braking distance as I was weaving the wheel all over the place. But let's have a look at replay at that those incredible reactions down in towards turn 1. So Pascal Wehrlein brakes a little bit earlier than my liking, and just so close there between the two of us. And there we go, nearly, you know, tagging that rear right tyre of Esteban Ocon, which could have put him or myself into a spin. And either way, that would have been bad news for myself. But now cutting ahead to lap 23 of today's race. A few of the leaders running away at the moment, but there are drivers coming into the pits right now, including my teammate as well, of Nico Hulkenberg. So I'm going to be able to jump all these drivers, but also get a nice comfortable lead over them as well, which is really interesting to see at this stage of the race. We've been bumped up into P10. We're in the points paying positions right now, and we don't have any more pit stops left to make. So it's all going to be a case of whether those guys behind us can catch up to us in today's race. Esteban Ocon also doing the same strategy as me here today. And Alonso now coming into the pit. So does Daniel Ricciardo. A few more drivers into the pit lane, and that's going to bump me up even more positions in today's race. Whereabouts are we going to come out after this pit stop phase? We're in P4. That is a net P4 at the moment. This is absolutely fantastic for our race. You've got Ocon in third. You've got Pascal Wehrlein in 5th, you've got Perez in 2nd, and you've also got Carlos Sainz at the moment leading today's race. There could be a brand new winner in today's Hungarian Grand Prix. This is absolutely fantastic for this season so far. So we're watching the two Force Indias going wheel to wheel at the moment. How many times have we seen that in the real life 2017 Formula 1 season? It's happening here in my career mode at the moment, but it's nice and clean between the two drivers. Sergio Perez there getting overtaken by Esteban Ocon. I believe he has a problem in today's race, hence why he is going so slowly at the moment. We're right at the tail though of the Force India driver. We may have a little look of the inside into turn 4. We think about it, but we're just not close enough to go for that dive bomb move. There's no point going for a dive up the inside, as it probably will result in me taking out Sergio Perez at this stage of the race. We don't want to do that. We're running at a really good position of P4. We're pretty much guaranteed that 3rd position as well, because of Sergio Perez running so slowly in today's race. Here we are right on the back of the Force India driver, coming through the final corner. Not long left to go in this race, about 7 laps left to go, as we're going to move over to the right hand side, take that slipstream, use the DRS, and going side by side now with Sergio Perez. He's very good under braking, but unfortunately a big old lock up there from Sergio Perez helps me to get the job done up the inside and move on to the podium for today's race. Could this be my 2nd podium in my 1st season of the F1 2017 career mode? We're just going to have to wait and see. We've not got long left to go in today's race. We're now watching a battle between Lewis Hamilton and Pascal Wehrlein develop, as Lewis Hamilton goes side by side with Pascal Wehrlein down in towards turn 4. And what an amazing overtake that was around the outside of turn 4. I don't think that you will see a better overtake from a driver today. That's absolutely fantastic. The yellow flags though have come out for some sort of incident, so wait for confirmation on exactly who that was. But absolutely incredible there from Lewis Hamilton to get the job done on Pascal Wehrlein, and, you know, keeping up that momentum, keeping up that speed in that Mercedes car. He is now going for the overtake on Sergio Perez. So can he get the job done? Down in towards this right-hander. Bottas going for the move on Pascal Wehrlein as well, but Lewis Hamilton gets the job done on Sergio Perez, and that moves him up into P4. What a lap the Mercedes driver is having, and not only is he up into P4, he is now right on my tail. So we're going to have to try and defend from Lewis Hamilton. Watching a replay now of Valtteri Bottas, who went around the outside of Marcus Ericsson, who, just like his teammate, fantastic move there around the outsides. We're now watching on board with Marcus Ericsson, who dropped down into P9, so maybe it wasn't as good as I first thought. So here we go up the inside, and there's just a little bit of contact between himself and Valtteri Bottas. So I'm not really too sure whose fault that was, or whether that was just a case of a racing incident. Both drivers not really giving each other enough room, and unfortunately Kimi Räikkönen, you know, was sort of a passenger there, had nowhere to go going into that accident, and unfortunately goes into the side of Marcus Ericsson. Watching on board with Kimi Räikkönen now. Actually, to be fair, he did have somewhere to go. He backed off massively and then decided anyway he's just going to drive straight into Marcus Ericsson. So not too sure what on earth he was doing there. Now watching a replay on board of Lewis Hamilton. Let's just have a look at this amazing overtake around the outside. Gets squeezed there by Pascal Wehrlein. Gives him enough room. Gives himself enough room. Keeps it on the track. And there we go. Great move to move himself up into P5s before he hunted down Sergio Perez for P4. But now, cutting ahead to lap 28 P8, we have not only one Mercedes behind us, but we have the other one as well. Valtteri Bottas joining this little train. So here goes Lewis Hamilton, possibly going for an overtake down in towards turn 1 on the left-hand side. It's going to be 3 wide between myself and the 2 Mercedes. I get the inside line, though, braking very harsh down in towards turn 1, but I get the inside line, and I hold on to my position. But how long can I defend for against these 2 drivers? Bottas sticks up the inside of his teammate, takes away that 4th position from Lewis Hamilton, and now he's going to be the guy to try and overtake me in today's race. So Valtteri Bottas on the back of me here on lap 30. 5 laps left to go in today's race. Who is going to come out on top in this battle? Will it be myself, Valtteri Bottas, or Lewis Hamilton? Bottas on the left-hand side. It seems like he's got the job done, but very late on the brakes compared to the Mercedes driver. We stick it up the inside, side by side. A little bit of a wheel bang between the 2 of us. At the moment, still holding on to this podium position. Ocon and Sainz are way out in front at the moment, so it seems like it's not really going to be a case of catching up to those guys for the lead or second place. This is a battle for a podium, and I want it. I do not want to give up, but here we go down towards turn 4. Valtteri Bottas up the inside, and that is incredible. Absolutely incredible there for Valtteri Bottas. Very brave under braking. And there was literally nothing I could do about that. I did not expect Valtteri Bottas to dive it up the inside down in towards turn 4. Let's have a look at replay once again of the Mercedes driver. He's sort of side by side, but just very late on the brakes there. Sticks up the inside, and he gets the job done. Literally nothing I could have done about that. I was not expecting him to make the move, hence why I did not defend my position. And Valtteri Bottas takes it. He gambles on that mistake that I made, and he moves himself up into a podium position. As we're now under pressure once again from Lewis Hamilton in today's race, going into the final couple of corners here on lap 30. There's a yellow flag down in towards the final corner where our leader Carlos Sainz was, and Carlos Sainz is out of the race with only 5 laps left to go. He was leading the Hungarian Grand Prix by a nice comfortable distance as well, and out of nowhere he is out of today's race. Incredible. The safety car has been brought out as well. This could either really help or really hinder our race. It's going to put Lewis Hamilton right to my tail, but it may give me a chance once again to go for the overtake on Valtteri Bottas and Esteban Ocon. Let's have a look at a replay, though, of what exactly happened to Carlos Sainz in today's race. So through the final corner, and I'm guessing it was just, unfortunately, a mechanical failure, which it was there for Carlos Sainz. When will he get some luck in this season? He has had such bad luck in this season of career mode. And there's the standings on the left-hand side. Ocon leading the way. Esteban Ocon currently leading today's race. Valtteri Bottas is in second, with myself currently in third. Then it's Lewis Hamilton in fourth, with Sergio Perez, the other Force India, in fifth. Max Verstappen in sixth place, with Pascal Wehrlein in the points right now in P7. Felipe Massa in eighth, with Danny Kvyat at ninth. Then it's Daniel Ricciardo at the moment in that final points position in P10. Then Lance Stroll in 11th, and Fernando Alonso in 12th. My teammate down in 13th place. But we're now getting ready for the safety car restart. The safety car is in. The racing is about to get underway. Coming into the final corner, we are green once again for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And now we'll be trying to put some pressure on Valtteri Bottas, but he has had some great traction there out to that final corner, putting us under pressure from Lewis Hamilton. We're trying to, move over to the right-hand side, defend our position, but Lewis Hamilton finds the gap, goes up the inside. If we want to defend it, we're going to have to go round the outside through turn 1. Unfortunately, that's not the case here today, and Lewis Hamilton takes away P3 from us as Valtteri Bottas overtakes Esteban Ocon for the lead of this race. Bottas goes wide, and we need to go straight into the back of the Mercedes drive. Unfortunately, had to evase Valtteri Bottas through that turn 2. And really disappointing. That's put us way down into P6 at the moment for what could have been a podium here today. And now, unfortunately, we're battling for P6 in today's race. Watching on board once again of Valtteri Bottas. So up the inside of Esteban Ocon. Great overtake for the leader of today's race. A little bit of a wheel bang between the two drivers. They go wheel to wheel through turn 1. Then Bottas sort of gets the job done on Esteban Ocon, and Ocon pulls back into the slipstream, but then a lock up there for Valtteri Bottas into turn 2, comes back onto the racing line. Unfortunately, that's where I had to get out of his way, otherwise would have gone straight into the side of him, and that could have been my race over with only a few laps left to go. And here we are on the final lap of this Hungarian Grand Prix. We've got Ocon in the lead. We've then got Lewis Hamilton in second, Valtteri Bottas third, Sergio Perez fourth, with Max Verstappen in fifth. Then it's myself currently in sixth place. Lewis Hamilton goes up the inside there of Esteban Ocon. It's side by side between the two drivers. The battle on the final lap here today. And Lewis Hamilton's got the job done. He moves up into the lead of the race. Really disappointing there for Esteban Ocon, but he could still be on for a podium here today if Perez holds off Max Verstappen, it will be a Force India podium here today as Lewis Hamilton moves up into the lead of the race. Now we have to try and defend from Felipe Massa, currently in 6th position at the moment. Disappointing not to be in a podium fight, but P6 is still a really good result. We would like to get these points here today. This would really help us in this season, especially to defend against Felipe Massa. And as well, we've got two of our championship rivals of Esteban Ocon and Sergio Perez in a really good position ahead of us. Perez is currently in P4 with Ocon in P2, trying to defend there from Valtteri Bottas. The gap is so close right now between myself and Felipe Massa. We go in towards the final sector now of this Hungarian Grand Prix. It looks like Lewis Hamilton is going to come out of it with the race win. Look at the gap that he's already pulled out ahead of Esteban Ocon in today's race. Lewis Hamilton, though, comes round the final corner. He had to do it on the final lap of today's race, but Lewis Hamilton wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Fantastic result there for the Mercedes man. We're going to come home for a really, really good P6. Would not have expected that at the end of the day after starting way down in P20. What an incredible end to today's race. It was a slow burner here today. It was really, really quiet and really quite boring in the first phase of the race. But boy, did it pick up by the end of the race after those two safety cars, really shaking up the rest of the field. And Lewis Hamilton really had to be on his A game to get today's race win, beating Esteban Ocon to the line. Ocon, though, gets onto the podium. Fantastic result there for the Force India driver to get that podium here too. Valtteri Bottas making the podium as well in P3. And then Sergio Perez up into P4 with that mechanical failure, still holding on to that 4th position with Max Verstappen in 5th. Then it's myself in 6th with Felipe Massa in 7th. Danny Kvyat in 8th and Pascal Wehrlein 9th with Daniel Ricciardo in 10th. And Lance Stroll just missing out on the points here today. Fernando Alonso also missed out on the points in today's race with Nico Hülkenberg down in 13th position. Then it was Kevin Magnussen in P14 with Kimi Räikkönen down in 15th and Sebastian Vettel in 16th. Not a good day there for the two Ferrari drivers. Sebastian Vettel, our championship leader, way down in 16th position with Marcus Ericsson in P17. And then we have the three drivers who did not finish here today of Carlos Sainz, Romain Grosjean and Stoffel Van Dorn. Now we take a look at the Drivers' Championship after the 11th round of this season. Lewis Hamilton moves above Kimi Räikkönen after today's win into P2 at the moment. 31 points separating Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel at this stage of the season. He is on a bit of a comeback, and we really want to see that. We want to see the championship leaders go head-to-head in this first season of career mode. It looks like at the moment it's going to be between Vettel, Hamilton and Raikkonen if those guys can catch up over the rest of the season. But in terms of our championship, we're still holding on to P7 at the moment. But Ocon and Perez have made a huge stride to catch up to us in this season. Ocon now only 6 points behind us in the championship, with Perez only 1 point behind his teammate as well. So we do have to, have our wits about us and make sure that we try and keep those drivers behind us in the championship. And finally, taking a look at the Constructors. We're still in P5 at the moment as Williams move above Haas in the Constructors' Championship. There's still about 30 points behind us, though, so we're not really too worried at this stage of the season. There's still a long way left to go, and there are still plenty of points still to be able to pick up. Unfortunately, though, the gap to the Force India team is 23 points right now. So we do really need to pick up our game, both myself and Nico Hülkenberg, get some good results in this season, and just make sure that we beat the Force Indians. If we can do that, then we can really start to catch them up in this championship. But that's it for this Hungarian Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so for daily Formula 1 content, and don't forget to share this video with your friends and leave a comment down below what exactly you thought about today's race. But I'll see you next time at the Belgian Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.